Are the efforts of a Chicago suburb the beginning of the fulfillment of the desires for reparations for the reparations movement here in America?
There's a push to right the wrong done by the city. Several decades ago, African Americans were redlined. Here's a look at where blacks could live in the city.
People of color, such as myself and my dad, who grew up here in Evanston, just a couple blocks over, this is the area where they could live.
Vanessa Johnson McCoy is a realtor in Evanston.
Years ago, that was not the opportunity, that we just couldn't take them to anywhere.
She recalls the challenges her parents faced in the 1950s and knows the obstacles blacks in Evanston endured looking for housing.
The banks would not allow them to, they wouldn't give them money to buy outside of this area. It was very challenging.
She's pleased to see Evanston correct the wrong through reparations. The city already approved $10 million over a decade to put towards reparations from the pot revenue. Now $400,000 will be available to blacks whose families were impacted by the racist housing policy.
Well, I say it's definitely a start. And I say yes, we have to begin somewhere.
So let's get straight down to it. I'll come with Dr. Abdul Halim, and then we'll go back to our brother Dr. Assad. So is it a mere symbolic gesture, or is this a good first step?
It's a step. I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if it's a first step. But if it involves land, now you got my attention as an urban planner. You have my attention. Because without land, this whole thing is about property. It's about land. Remember the 39 men, actually 40 signatures on the Constitution, but the 39 men that signed the Constitution of the United States, they were white male property owners. And they didn't even want white men that didn't own property to vote. It's about land. So we got to have land in order to feed, clothe, and shelter ourselves. It's a good start, but it doesn't end there. You can give somebody money, but if you don't educate them with the knowledge of self to do for self, then that land can be taken from them. That money can be taken from them. And if you give them land to feed, clothe, and shelter themselves, you got to give them the tools and implements and materials necessary to sustain themselves. And you do have to provide a measure of capital so that they're able to continue and perpetuate what it is that they're doing. So land, education, tools, equipment, material, and capital. But really, we need more. We need like 100 million acres just to start.
Yes, sir. What do you say, Dr. Assad?
It's a noble effort, and I appreciate any step towards repairing what has been done to the black community. However, when you read the plan that is in existence right now for Evanston, only 16 individuals will receive $25,000 at this point. You know, $25,000 is a lot to some people who have never seen $25,000. However, that is not reparations. Reparations must be a multi-generational effort, and it must be a very, very specific effort for those of us who are American descendants of slavery. So we need to make sure that this is not a one-off, because it's no one-off that can really correct what has been done. It must be a multi-generational effort.
Thank you. And so, Dr. Abdul Halim, so, you know, how can black activists, politicians, and groups who've been fighting for reparations for years use this development to add fuel to the larger fight for reparations? Or can they?
Well, this may backfire because, again, we're talking about something that, you know, sometimes is too little too late. And, you know, I've been in situations and seen people in situations where they'll go to the bank and the bank will lend them just enough money to fail. So we got to look at this thing. Again, I go back to the solution offered by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We're a nation within a nation, and we have to be treated like that. And we have to look at the reparations the Japanese received. We have to look at the reparations that the Jewish people received. We have to look at the reparation that others have received in order to real justice. But for us, it's going to require land. And it's required for us to have a holistic approach and to bring us all together. And as the minister said this weekend, it's going to take unity, it's going to take love, and we're going to have to want for our brother and sister what we want for ourselves and get our egos out of the way. So whoever's got the best plan and the best methodology, we need to put those together so that we can come up with, instead of fighting over a thesis and an antithesis, to put together and come together with a synthesis that what reparations would mean for us and to us. But I believe it comes down to having some land, having surface rights and mineral rights of the land that's under our feet.
What do you say, Dr. Sai? Can this first step be used by those advocates who've been fighting for reparations for years?
I believe so. I believe it's an example that can be even implemented in my hometown here in New Orleans. It can be implemented in other communities where we have large African-American population. Particularly, they're using the proceeds and the revenue from the I believe it's the sale of marijuana or the fines.
Pot fund.
I'm sorry, say it again.
The pot fund.
The pot fund, right? Yeah. So it is a. I'm not sure it could work in every location in every community, but indeed it is a start. And you know, for me, hey, let's cut the check. Let's start. This is a start. I want the check cut. We need the check cut. We have a wealth gap in this country that is insurmountable. I believe that the one study I read said it would take over 200 years for us to close the wealth gap with white Americans. We need the checks. We need the land. However however it may come, but definitely, and I agree with the brother, Dr. Brother, that we need some land. But for me in particular, you know, I think I can manage mine.
And of course, they say, from what I've read about this Evanston resolution, they're saying that this $25,000, this is the first phase, and there are other things that they're building on to it. Here's a question, and Dr. Aleem, you mentioned how the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan mentioned unity as one of the things that we need in order to accomplish what we need to accomplish for our people. As it relates to this issue of reparations, from your perspectives, both of you all, are Black folks unified in this effort to want reparations? Like I wonder if there's a large segment of Black folks who are not in favor of reparations. It's just like, man, that was in the past, let's move on. So are we unified? Are there enough of us who want reparations and see the need of this to repair our condition? We'll go with Dr. Abdul Halim, and then we'll come back to you, brother, Dr. Assad.
See, Dr. Assad hit the lick in the beginning, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Many of us suffer from it. And so we're afraid to defend ourselves. We're afraid to ask for anything because we don't feel that we deserve anything, because we don't feel like we're human. It's not only that the people who look down upon us don't see us as human, we don't even see ourselves as human. And then there is a segment of our community. Some of them are in the boule. Some of them are the gatekeepers that control the masses. And when we start to rise up, they go to those are the go-to people, and they come and they calm us down and that kind of thing. And then there's a conservative wing of our people, like the Shelby Steels and the others, Thomas Sowells and others like that, who just believe in the American way. And you just got to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, even though we don't have any boots or straps to pull ourselves up by. So we have to take the whole range of our people. No, we're not unified, brother. And that is purposeful. The number one denial objective of the U.S. government during the COINTELPRO program, and just since the rebellions of slavery under Nat Turner, was that we never be organized, effectively organized. Because the difference between a tropical storm and a Cat 5 hurricane that Katrina was as it passed by is this level of organization.
Thank you. What do you say, Dr. Assad?
I appreciate that analogy.
From here.
Yeah, and that's the poet in me. I like that.
Yeah.
Repeat the question for me, Brother Willie.
Like, in regards to, are we unified enough on this issue of reparation as a people to be able to get it? Because I say this, I doubt if we go back and we look at the reparations that were given to the Native Americans, to the Asian Americans after World War II, if you found them fighting over whether or not this government should readdress what happened to them, but you found us fighting over it.
I think we are moving towards a consensus on reparations, and it was pushed by groups like the ADOS movement with Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore, who were very vocal about reparations, whether we agree with all their politics or not. There were Ta-Nehisi Coates and his article that he wrote on reparations, and Sheila Jackson Lee and the bill, I believe is HR 40, I believe it was called.
And Cobra too.
And Cobra also. So I believe there's some organizations who are now beginning to get the type of attention that is needed to put it on the minds of Black folk who may not have thought about reparations, or for so long who have thought, well, we deserve it, but we're not going to get it. So this Evanston thing is important because now we have an example of Black people, not Jews, not Native Americans, not the Japanese. We have an example of Black people who are now receiving some form of reparations. Is it enough? By no means is it enough. Is it a complete and total repair of what has been done to Black people? By no means. But it's an example that we can use to say, here, we have Black people who have received reparations. Now Black folk in New Orleans need to start raising our voice and say, hey, where's our check? Because I know I'm asking for it.
Yes, we definitely know you are asking for that check as well, Doctor. So what we're going to do, thank you all, brothers, and really enjoyed your contribution, your insight on this, on these segments, and I look forward to every first Monday of the month hearing from both of you all. So we're going to close out. We thank each and every one of you all for joining us today and tuning into NNV. Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Please hit the like button. It's not that we're out of vanity, but if you hit the like button, then that increases or influences the algorithms where more people can see this content. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, National Network View. This is Willie Muhammad with National Network View News. Thank you.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.